Before the webinar begins, rename your Zoom name to your complete name and department and/or affiliation so that we can easily identify you. Kindly mute your microphone when not in use. Next, switch on your video if your connectivity allows you. If you have questions with regards to the presentation, there will be an open forum right after. Please type it in the chat box or use the raise hand reaction button in Zoom and unmute yourself. The session is video recorded. Recordings will be made available at the Silliman Online University Learning website. Heavenly Father, we come to you in this hour, asking for your guidance and protection to our virtual gathering today. We thank you for the gift of life, the gift of family, the gift of work, and the gift of friendship. We thank you for this great opportunity to bring us together in this session as brothers and sisters. Bless the committee, the facilitator, and the attendees of this gathering. May we continue to value and appreciate the true essence and meaning of life with the help of your grace. And as we go along to our discussion today, we humbly pray that you would deepen our understanding. Lord, enlighten us and give us wisdom every day. Forgive us for our shortcomings and remind us to always be mindful of the things we do in life. We offer our life and our decisions to you, O Lord. May this gathering today create a memorable experience and a fruitful outcome. We ask this through our Lord Jesus Christ, our Redeemer and our Savior. Amen.
Good morning and welcome once again to our regional
Good
sharing and
morning,
support.
everyone. Our host for this morning is Mr. Larry Rehensha.
Thank you for that, Ma'am Jan. Yes, thank you for spending your Saturday morning once again with us. One last time. So I know your weekends are full for non-work related activities, but thank you for being here today. So in our previous regional sharing, we have heard various experiences from our participants, and it's a good avenue for us to even learn further on their experiences as well. So for today, we'll be hearing speakers again from Region 7 and 8. So they were supposed to be the first presenters during this regional sharing, but we have to move them at a later date due to the Typhoon Odette. And for that, we hope and pray that everyone everyone affected are now in full recovery, or probably on the road to full recovery. So as we continue our lesson, our session for today, for those, by the way, who just joined us today, this regional sharing and support activity is part of our continuing support for the PLMS project that is funded by CHED and carried out by Silliman University. So this project is intended to support our educators during the new normal as an alternative learning platform. So PLMS is a platform that allows us to deliver our teaching materials to our students with challenging internet connectivity or no internet at all. So this project is headed by Dr. Dave Marshall. And let's hear also his welcome message for today. Let's hear it, Amjad.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another exciting and interesting sharing of progress, challenges, and tips of the Portable Learning Management System. This virtual gathering is among the many sessions and activities of the research project entitled Portable Learning Management System, a platform for technology-enhanced flexible learning in schools with challenging internet connectivity. This project is funded by the Commission on Higher Education through the Continuing Professional Education Grant under the K-12 Transition Program. This is among the many sessions that we provide as part of the support and extended services of the training that we conducted last year through the effort of the team under the supervision of Professor Janice Antoinette Forster and her team. We have Assistant Professor Larry Vincent Regencia and Assistant Professor Myla Sardan. We would like to thank everyone and to all of you for attending this sharing of progress, challenges, and tips. I personally thank our speakers, our sharers, and to those who will contribute their experiences for us or for the others to learn from the experiences, to learn from the challenges, and maybe we can get valuable tips for us to integrate, mitigate the problems as we go along and use PLMS, the Portable Learning Management System. We would like also to thank our coordinator for their active participation and their never-ending support and coordination of all the necessary information that we need to disseminate to their respective region so that many we can access to the information that we would like to share, especially on the PLMS. Once again, thank you for joining and thank you for attending our session. I hope that you will attend in the future sharing of experiences and challenges and tips in the use of the Portable Learning Management System. Daghang salamat and kita-kits. Good day, everyone, and welcome to
Okay, I think Sir Larry is having some technical issues. So at this point of our program, we'd like to welcome Dr. Maria Cecilia Zili Gason, who is our regional coordinator for Region 7 and 8.
Good day, everyone. Greetings from the land of Chocolate Hills. On behalf of the many different schools and my fellow educators in Region 7 and 8, I would like to welcome you all to this last but not the least regional sharing and support activity. It is a fact that the pandemic since March 2020 has greatly affected the academe and brought a lot of difficulties and challenges in our educational system. We became hopeful to return to normal when the COVID-19 cases went down in December of 2021. Unfortunately, Super Typhoon Odette came and many provinces in Region 7, especially Bohol and Cebu, were hit hard. When going online was an option during the pandemic, the effect of Odette's devastation has nearly left us incapacitated. More than 2 months after Odette, there are still places in Region 7, like the province of Bohol, without water, electricity, telecommunication lines are still down, and no internet access at all. Despite of all these drawbacks, we remained hopeful that with us working together and joining forces, we can still give the best education for our students. Our resiliency gives us the strength to hold on as we look forward to better days. Lastly, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to CHED, to Silliman University, especially to the project team headed by Dr. Dave Marshall, my former student and proud HNU alumnus, for the many learning opportunities and for the trust given to me and to HNU to become part of this awesome project. To all, thank you for your presence. God bless and keep safe, everyone.
All right, thank you so much for that. I apologize for my internet connectivity is acting up today. I am currently on intermittent connection. Thank you so much, Dr. Ligason. Yes, indeed, joining forces and working together and helping each other is the best way we can recover. So the next presentation will be on the experiences of participants from different schools. Our first presenter for today would be Mr. Vincent Ray Namok, faculty of Whole Name University. Let's hear them.
Hello, my name is Vincent Rainamok, a faculty of the College of Nursing in Holy Name University, and I'm here to share to you my experience on the portable learning management system training done by Silliman University last September 20 to 25, 2021. This is actually a free training, and as you can see here, this is the website, oursoul.su.edu.ph. They actually call their learning management system Our Soul. And as you can see here, this is actually the interface of their website. And this is the training that I had. It's a 5-day training. This is a free training, and every day you have here activities as well as requirements to make. So I actually done all my activities here ahead of time. The portable learning management system that I'm actually talking about is an offline type Moodle. And you can see here, this is the file that was actually provided by the Silliman University training. And this is heavily compressed right now, and it's at 162 MB. But when you uncompress this using WinRAR, this will balloon to about 1 gig, which is still, it could still easily fit a USB, but you should take note that this will only work on Windows operating system. According to the trainers, iOS, and that would include tablets, smartphones, it will not work. It will only work on Windows operating systems. So now I'm just gonna show to you the default or the bare bones of the PLMS without any content that was added. So the Spoodle now is now running. Okay, so you can see at the top portion, it actually opens Microsoft Edge, and the default address is localhost 8080 slash Moodle, and you can actually use other browsers right here. So let me use Firefox. Just copy and paste the localhost right there. So this is the default look of the interface. And let's see, admin. That's the default password. Don't update. Okay, so this is actually what the interface looks like. First name, last name. So with no contents in it. So sample virtual classroom. So there's still no contents in this one. I'm just gonna transfer to the one that I actually have content. So you should log out here. So you should take note that you can have multiple PLMS on your computer. You just have to save it on different locations. So you should also stop this poodle here properly, because if not, it could cause corruption. I actually save it on my other drive, my main drive. This is C. I didn't have any conflicts in it, so I was just trying it. And here, let me take a look at the server, how much this is. So it's actually much bigger now, 2.1 gigabytes, because it has a lot of content in it. This is actually the one that I use on my requirements. Okay, so let's open this one. So if you have any problems with Spoodle right here, it will not open. So again, it will only run on Windows and not any other operating system. So you can see here the interface has changed because I actually change the profile here. This is a carousel, a gallery of pictures right here. So the HNU president, and here the old picture of HNU. So admin, it's not anymore admin because I had a different username and password. And here it has changed because I've added multiple courses. The picture of also of the dashboard has changed. You can actually edit your profile right here. So this is from the teacher point of view. Nursing informatics subjects. So I didn't actually add this one. The subject that I've concentrated here is actually pharmacology, which I am handling. And also you should take note that I did not use this PLMS on my students. So what you're looking right now is the sample that I've done to pass the for the requirements of this training course. So you can see here, I'm gonna delve deeper on the later videos. Here you can see history of pharmacology, an assignment for status asthmaticus medications, pharmacology examination here. So all the contents will be right here. This is actually quite similar to Google Classroom, which is being used by HNU. So, but the difference here is that there's a lot more options. Yeah, it's actually a lot of customization options for you compared to Google Classroom. There's a bit of learning curve, especially if you're not familiar with Moodle, and and primarily for that is because of the settings, because there's quite a lot of settings here. And here, this is the teacher point of view, so you have to enroll your users or your students right here. And actually, when you add the students, these are the sample students right here at the bottom portion. So you can enroll them either um, individually or by group. Okay, if you have, for example, 10 students, then you can just use the CSV file um, from Excel to add the students right here. For example, this one, this is a CSV, sorry, format for your Excel, where you can add all the students. That would include the password, their own password here. They can change this later on. And also their username, first name, last name, as well as their email address. And they should know that the problem with this type of Moodle is that if you forget the password, especially if you're the teacher, you should keep the password. That's a must, because there's no reset in here. You cannot reset the whole system. you basically have to overlap the system, which means you have to start from scratch. So that's a problem here. So you should take note of your password. But for students, you can just delete the, for example, this type of students, I can delete here when they are deleted, or you could uh, change their own password. For example, John Doe. So edit their profile, and you can just change their new password right here. So that only the teacher can change the password for the student, especially if the student forgot their own password. In making your own course, for example, right here, this is already displayed in the main dashboard. But if I browse it here, you can see that some of it is not really displayed. For example, laboratory nursing informatics. I already made this, but it is not displayed in this area in the dashboard, meaning it's not yet active, so the students cannot see it. What you need to do here is actually to enroll yourself as the teacher. When you look at here, this is one of the intricacies of this Moodle, because it does have a lot of um, getting used to. For example, enroll users. So I have to enroll myself and put myself as the teacher here, so that when you look at the courses here, laboratory informatics is already in place. So this is how you create a learning activity on Moodle. So here I am at my course here, for example, pharmacology. At the bottom portion, this is actually the sections for all your, for example, this would be your categories. And when you scroll down to the lower portion, this is the create the learning activity tab. And over here, you have your activities, and the most common of which would be assignments and quizzes. If you're familiar with Moodle, the online type, this would be filled with other options. But since this is just offline, it's quite limited. Okay, so it's a stripped down or bare bones version because this is an offline Moodle. Over at the resources tab here, you can actually create a book file, for example, PDF. Even videos can be placed here. Folders, for example, notes, label, as well as page, and also URL. This is actually a link. For the help guide, it has here basically all the information of what it is, from assignment to choices. So this is actually a poll, but since this is an offline one, so this is basically not used here. Database, you have here feedback, and up to the lower portion, that would be file, folder, label, page, and lastly would be URL. Since the students would have limited connectivity, this would be rather pointless. And if you look at here, this is example of a book. So you can see here, this is just an example. So you can have multiple pages in here. So I just only have one. Okay, at the bottom portion, this is an example of an assignment. Okay, you can see here. And this would either be graded using rubrics or not. Quizzes. Okay, I'm gonna show this more on this later on. And what else? Okay, this is a forum for announcements, but since this is an offline one, this would be rather not used. What else here? Okay, book, for example, diuretics you have here. This would be a perfect example for a book. You can actually add videos in here, pictures and videos. So this is the topics here. This is page 1 or chapter 1. Next is another video. For example, if you have video discussions, so you can have it here, placed here. So you can actually play the videos if you want. So this was recorded. This is one of my discussions in pharmacology. I just use this for samples. So you can have this one. This is actually recorded in Zoom. And lastly, on thiazide. So these are all video discussions. So you can have it here. However, if you place a lot of media as well as videos here, you would expect the size of your Moodle to increase substantially. Over at the lower portion, so this is an example of a folder. For example, if you open this one, so that's PDF, PDF, PDF. Okay. And next one, squeeze format. The next section, uh, so this is a sample of a page, the book resources. So you can have your ebooks, focus on nursing pharmacology PDF. This is actually an ebook, and Cozier and Herbs Fundamentals of Nursing, another ebook. You can place it here, and also the picture here so that students would know what it is you have placed. Another one. Okay, resources, the sample file. Okay, so these are now samples. Okay, I think this is the last one. So basically that's it. This is all you can create here. It's basically like a page. So if you're familiar with any other LMS, it's basically just the same, except this is purely offline. I don't need internet for this one. Okay, because you can see here, if it is a local host, you're hosting it. Even though this is a browser, it's not connected to the internet. If you want to create an assignment, like for example right here, create learning activity assignment, and here for example COVID, so that would be your assignment. COVID, how did COVID change your life? Okay, so by the way, this assignment does not have rubrics in here, so this is without rubrics. So you can see there's a lot of options and customizations available. This is the due date, so anything past here would again label the assignments as late. And here, visibility, basically, if you choose here, save and return to course, the student will have the option to look at it, or you can have hide it because you're not yet finished. For the availability, you can have here allow submissions from, for example, today, February 28, or you can have, for example, if you enable this one or disable this. If you disable this, the student could submit anytime. If you enable this, the student can submit only, for example, I would say March 2. Okay, the student can allow, you can allow only after on March 2, the submission of their assignments. The cutoff date, anything past this one, if you enable this, would label the assignment. Oh, the students could not anymore submit. This is kind of harsh, really, if you choose this option. And reminding you to grade here. Submission types, you can have online text or file submissions, or you can have word limit. For example, 500 words. The students can place it here, 500 words. Maximum of file uploads, for example, if you allow them, for example, Word documents, just one file, and set up the maximum file size to 5 MB so that it won't balloon in terms of the file sizes. Accepted file types, you can have here, there's quite a lot of options really. You can see here video files. This is true even in on all assignment types. Document files, so you can choose all file types here, because if you are quite picky on your file types, then the student could not submit it if it is the correct incorrect file type. Submission settings, okay, here if you require the student to click the submit button, after they click the submit button, they could not anymore edit it. So usually it would be left at default. And also attempts reopen here. For example, they submitted it and they want to edit it before the due date. Group assignments, group submissions, that would be in group activity. Notifications, grading, this is how you grade it. Grade to pass, here, module settings, restriction of access. Okay, this will be discussed later on. Activity completion, tags. So your tags here, this is similar to like in Facebook as well as in YouTube. Um, Basically a means of filtering. Competencies, familiar with OBE. You have here, can attach evidence, send for review, and complete the competency. So if you're done with this, for example, you have to remove the allow submissions on March 2, because if you check this one, this will only display on March 2. But if you uncheck that, for example, here, save and return to course, you can now see at the bottom portion here. That's the assignment. Okay, so you can have here, this is the assignment for the students, and these are the students enrolled. You can see that there's still no submissions here, no grade. So you can grade each student right here if they have submitted it. Probably the most interesting feature about this Moodle is the question bank. This is interesting for me because this is not found in Google Classroom. And from the name itself, it's essentially a collection of all the questions that I made here in the sample. For example, in nursing, the most popular of which is, you can see here,
Jen, are we
Um,
having some?
it's ac-
here the
it's actually
static
still
question. Let's
on.
select all that apply. Click.
Okay.
So actually
Yeah.
made quite a lot here. Also matching type and short answers, but they're rare in exams. Um, when you look at here, for example, a type of question, digoxin. Um, I'm going to preview this. Digoxin is part of what type family of drugs? So let me answer this incorrectly. So this is actually a cardiac glycoside. So here. So your answer is incorrect, cardiac glycosides. So the correct answer is cardiac glycosides. So basically, what the student sees is here. Okay, this is the you can either choose that they see the feedback after the quizzes or right after each answer. So that is your choice. So what's good about this type of question bank is that when you make each quiz, you can just select which one you want. You want a 5 questions of SATA, 5 questions multiple choice, or be it if it is a chapter quiz, you can use numbers from pharmacodynamics, from pharmacokinetics. So it's up to you. Now on making a quiz, so let's start making a sample quiz right here. This is actually where the quiz bank is very important. So let's see here, chapter quiz. Please answer the chapter quiz. Display this description here. And the customization options for this one, there's quite a lot really. Like if you look at here, the timing, you can open this quiz, you can schedule it when it is open, or you can just disable that option and close the quiz. When will you close the quiz? For example, open the quiz at 12 and close at probably, it's following the military time here. So that's 1 o'clock. So that 1 hour quiz. So you have here about 60 minutes. So that's 1 hour. And here, when the time expires, you can either give the grace period, meaning, for example, if the students are not yet finished, you can give a 10-minute grace period. So that's a bit of extension, or you can just choose here. Attempts must be submitted before time expires, or they will not count. So that depends on you as a teacher what options. or you can open attempts after are submitted automatically. The grades here, you can just add what's a grade for the quizzes. I'm not gonna put here in the sample right now. For the layout, how many quizzes in each page, can have here up to 4, even 19 here. That depends on you. Question behavior, review. Okay, review options. You can either have, for example, if the students answers a multiple choice question, do you want that after each attempt they show the feedback or not, or immediately after the attempt, or you can have here later upon the quiz. Usually it's later upon the quiz, the feedback. And also, okay, here, this is the most common. Usually the feedback and the answers or the rationale would be after the quiz is closed. The appearance, extra restrictions. Okay, there's one loophole with this Moodle. And you can see here, this is a local host, meaning it is very dependent on the machine time. What that means here is that the current time I have here is 12:03 p.m. and that's February 28th. And since if you just use the timing here, a student who is familiar with a computer can just change the timing here. And since it is very dependent on your local machine, meaning your computer, the timing in your computer, then it could open prematurely because the student changed the time. That is why the best solution would be to require a password here. So this type of solution is actually not purely offline, but you have to add the student on a, for example, FB Messenger group chat, and on the date of the quiz, you send them the password so that they can open them at that date and time. So this is the solution to that loophole. Overall feedback. Okay, here. How about restriction access? This is the another special feature of this Moodle, is that for example, activity completion, date, grade, user profile, and restriction. The most common here is these three. Activity completions means that if you, for example, if this is a two-part quiz, if the student did not complete quiz one, they could not proceed to quiz two. Okay. Also the date here, meaning date, specific date and time, and lastly the grade. This for this one, if the student, if you require the student to pass the first quiz, for example, 70%, and the student got 69, then he could not proceed to quiz number two. So that's another restriction. So that depends on the teacher. Um, here. So let's just save and return to course. So it's actually at the bottom portion. That's the newest one. When you open the quiz here, it doesn't have yet any questions. So you edit the quiz, and here is what it looks like. So you just you can add a new question individually, a random question from the question bank, and also here the question bank itself. For example, this is a chapter quiz, so I want all the questions to be added. Okay, here, even on the next one. So add selections to quiz. Okay. Also I can add here from the first page. Okay, add selection to the quiz. So now it's done. So you just click save and it's added. So how do you test this one? For example, preview. You can just preview here, start attempt, and this is basically what it looks like. So the student will answer the next, okay, up to until they finish the quiz here. So that is how you make your quiz, as well as how you add the questions from the question bank. In such a case that, for example, in pharmacology, this was last year, and I want to use all the contents, the same contents here on the next year, but of different, of course, of different students. and I don't want to start over. So basically what you need to do, I've just made this one. This is from second semester pharmacology. So you can see here it's empty. And I just want to import the contents from the first one. Okay, here. I think that was section A, pharmacology section A. Okay, here. Just gonna copy all the contents here. Okay, you can see here these are all the contents available. And I want to copy them all. Next. And still perform import. Okay, it's done. So the courses are imported, and as you can see here, second semester, there's already the same content, but the students here is actually not the same. So you can see here users, enrolled users. I have here Michael Jackson, Juan de la Cruz, and me as a teacher here. So this is a new classroom or course, still the same course but different students. So you can see here, same content with the other one, my previous course here. Aside from import, there's also a setting here called backup, which is quite essential, especially if you want to well, have your own backup so that you don't lose your contents. And also, if you want to use it on a separate PLMS location, I'm going to show to you that later on. For example, right here, I want to create a backup for pharmacology section A. Okay, here. You just click next. It will back up basically all the contents you have done. And here next. This is basically the same as import in terms of the process, but it performs differently. Okay, so the backup file was successfully created. Then you move next. Then what you need to do is here. So you just download this one. This has been created today. You can see here Monday, February 28, 2022 at 1:53 p.m. So you just need to download this one. Okay, so it's already downloading. So take note that, okay, it will be saved in your downloads folder. Now I'm going to perform restoration from that backup. So here, for example, let's see. I've opened here pharmacology, and you can go to restore. So this is basically the backup that I've made, and I can just restore this. So if you look at here, so this is backups and restorations are actually quite important. If possible, this will be done diligently by the students because of, for example, if they're always bringing their USB, it might get corrupted. Okay, for example, let's see here. Let's transfer it to here. Okay, next. Perform all. Perform restoration. Okay, restoration is now complete. So you can see at pediatric nursing, although this is a different course, it has the same content because I already restored it. So the student should be taught properly about restoration as well as backupping the course, especially to make sure they don't lose any of their contents, especially their exams. And last in this video is logging in as a student. So before that was all about the teacher. So I'm now gonna log in as a student. You should remember the password. So if a student has been given, for example, I made a student named John Doe, username John. and the password is 1234. So the student can actually change their password here and make sure they remember it. Although you can reset it, but they have to bring the copy of the Moodle, the USB and the Moodle, to the teacher to have it reset if they ever forgot the password. So they can edit the profile right here, preferences, the email, etc. here, even put pictures in here. So you can see that the options are quite limited, and oftentimes you only see two courses here because, well, these are the courses which John Doe is enrolled in. So if you open here pharmacology, for example, there's no gearbox here, meaning they could not change any setting. And what they can only do is take the exam, read the resources available here, and I think that's about it. And for example, for the assignment, you can see here, this was the first assignment. You can have your add submissions. So the students can put here files, can upload files here, can write the text here, and even insert image as well as audio and video here. They can actually record here, just like what I'm doing right now. And let's go back to the quiz. So the bottom portion right here, chapter quiz. So they can attempt the quiz. So the quiz has a time limit of 1 hour. A time will count down the moment they start. So it's pretty much set here. You can just answer that up until the end. For this is kind of a long quiz, so I'm not gonna answer everything. So that's basically it. This is on the student login. It's limited in terms of the settings, but that's what you expect if the student is answering this. Before I end this video, let me share to you the advantages and disadvantages of using this offline Moodle. On the advantages side, well, it's a special type of Moodle, meaning it's really designed for offline use, and it's great. I've used this not really for my students, but well, when I practice it. No need for internet connection because, well, your own computer is its server. The whole Moodle also fits in a USB drive, but that also depends on the teacher. For example, if the teacher puts a lot of content in it, then the sizes would increase. It's also highly customizable, and if you watch this video from the beginning to the end, you probably saw all the features as well as the settings in it. So it's much better, especially when you're making quizzes and activities. Well, it offers you a lot of flexibility. It's better suited for students who have limited connectivity, not really no connectivity. And you can add video discussions, ebooks, videos from other sources like YouTube. And for me, it's pretty much an offline version of Google Classroom, which I'm using here in Holy Name University. But what I like about this is that it's offline. For the disadvantages side, well, it only works for Windows systems. And that also includes Androids and smartphone tablets. Well, iOS, it doesn't work. Needs a bit of time to learn. So if you're not familiar with Moodle, then you have to, well, have a tutorial for it. And the student should also get a training in here on how to use it. You can also do only do feedback after the students return their Moodle. So for example, in the start of the semester, you give their copy of the Moodle with the contents in it, and it's set to return probably and after midterms. So you can only do feedbacks after they return their Moodle to you. Needs for backup, of course, this is very important because there is no cloud server here. So if your data is lost, it is lost forever. So it might get corrupted, especially if you plug in and plug out your USB drives more often than not. So it's very important. Virus and malware is also kind of risky, especially if you have, for example, if you have a kiosk at school wherein all the teachers that are handling would just place all the contents on the Moodle there, and the students would copy, then that would be a risk for virus and malware infection. So thank you for watching this video. I think this is kind of lengthy, about 30 minutes plus. But this is also a summary of what the training was all about regarding the offline use of Moodle. And I would like to thank Silliman University for sharing this type of PLMS.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Vincent, for that quite comprehensive presentation and for identifying the disadvantages as well as the advantages. What has just been presented is actually our PLMS running with no internet connection. So if you have any other questions, please do type them in the chat box. We will answer them during our open forum. So before we proceed to our next presenter, let's have first an intermission number showcasing Bohol Bangga
Hello,
Sakuradang.
my name is
All right. Thank you, Bohol, for Bangga Sakuradang. For our next presenter today is coming from Visayas State University. We have Mr. Philip Cesar Ibit, Faculty of the College of Engineering. Let's hear it.
Hello everyone, I am Philip Cesar Ibit from the Visayas State University in Baybay City, Leyte, Region 8. Before anything else, I would like to give thanks to the organizers of this PLMS training led by Dr. Dave Marshall of Silliman University. I am deeply honored to be part of this wonderful and very informative training. Now, I am given the task to share to you my insights and personal experience about the PLMS training. To formally begin, let me briefly share with you bits about myself. Once again, I am Philip Cesar Luna Ibet. By profession, I am a registered electrical engineer and my field of interest includes the following: welding energy efficiency, renewable energy, and electronics and programming. I am connected as an engineering instructor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering in VSU since 2012. I have been handling the subject Basic Electrical Engineering, Basic Electronics, DC and AC Machinery, Control Engineering, Electrical and Electronics Engineering for Geodetic Engineering, and Engineering Mathematics. Let me take this opportunity to give you a glimpse of my working environment and at the same time, my home for the past 10 years, the Visayas State University main campus, through this video presentation.
There is an idyllic island in central Philippines where you could find one of the most beautiful schools in the country. The island is Leyte, and it is home to the Visayas State University. Perfectly situated between the majestic Mount Pangasugan in the east and the peaceful Camotes Sea in the west, VSU is widely known to be one of the most scenic schools in this part of the world. In fact, the Department of Tourism recommends it as a tourist destination in Eastern Visayas. It is a wonderfully crafted campus, a resort university, truly one of its kind. But VSU has not only earned a reputation of being a paradise, for it is also recognized as one of the best state universities in the Philippines. It is manned by a powerhouse of researchers, scientists, professors, and students who push the boundaries of science and technology every day to make a difference. Why VSU has propelled itself into international renown lies in its rich history. Its humble beginnings trace back to 1924, when it was established as a small agricultural school. But it started to grow exponentially when it became the Visayas State College of Agriculture, or VISCA, in 1974. Former VISCA President Fernando A. Bernardo, an institution builder and visionary, was at the helm. VISCA sent out its people to train in the top agricultural schools here and abroad and created versatile spaces where thinkers could innovate. A carefully designed and landscaped campus with state-of-the-art facilities that very few in the country could afford to have. But most importantly, VISCA instilled the values of searching for truth and pursuing excellence to everyone that entered its portals. So much so that a statue called the Search for Truth, sitting at the top of the hill, was set to become the university's symbol of its existence. In a few decades, VISCA became Leyte State University and then Visayas State University. In the process, it grew to become one of the premier universities of science and technology in the country, joining the ranks of the University of the Philippines and other top state universities as authorities in agriculture and allied fields. VSU and its people, called Viskans, are consistently recognized for noble accomplishments. The university prides itself on being the first school that the ACUP has accredited institutionally. Because we recognize the need to continuously improve, VSU subjects its programs, units, and systems to quality assurance mechanisms year by year. VSU's stature in the Philippine Association of State Universities and Colleges, or PASUC, is well known, being in the top tier as a Level 4 SUC and leading the way in many best practices in client-centered governance. VSU officials, researchers, and faculty are also recipients of prestigious awards like the Presidential Lingkod Bayan Award, the highest recognition to people in government service. Just recently, VSU President Edgardo E. Tulin received the Outstanding Research Administrator Award from the Department of Science and Technology, recognizing how he makes excellent research happen in the university. But despite all these, VSU sets its eyes on an even bigger goal: to be a globally competitive university of science, technology, and environmental conservation. While VSU has been collaborating with institutions abroad for research, and in fact gained recognition for our accomplishments, we wish to do more in years to come. Recognizing the need to amplify our presence internationally, VSU established the International Affairs Office as the central hub for all things global. The VSU website and strong social media presence have made the university visible online, connecting a wonderful community of proud Viskans roaming far and wide. VSU has seen a spike in enrollment of foreign students, as it also sends out its students and staff to universities abroad, thanks to our ties with Erasmus Mundus and other organizations like AACU. This is our way of fulfilling the promise of mobility in the ASEAN integration. The Innovation Center and the Regional Climate Change Center are nearing completion, set to become international hubs of cutting-edge S&T research relevant to the needs of the times. These will be welcome additions to our globally competitive research units, such as the Philippine Root Crops Research and Training Center, National Abaca Research Center, and the National Coconut Research Center. VSU continues to open its doors to Filipinos and foreign nationals who want to get world-class education while enjoying the wonders that nature has to offer. In turn, these Viskans set out on their journeys around the globe, empowering communities wherever they go. Visayas State University, as a globally competitive university in science, technology, and environmental conservation, accepts the challenge to take the search for truth further, providing access to success in a changing world.
So, that is the Visayas State University. The drastic changes due to the pandemic has left no one in exemption. We all have felt the so-called new normal way of living in the present situation. In terms of the educational learning system, VSU have tried to adapt to the dynamics of flexible learning in order to maintain the delivery of quality education to our students. At the onset of the pandemic in 2020, VSU offers offline and online modality of learning. Offline were done through printed modules sent to the learners themselves. The online modality was done through the VSU e-learning platform. At present, we are now having the online modality only. This is the VSU e-learning environment. It is based in a Moodle platform. With this, I found the PLMS training greatly relevant to me because of the fact that the VSU e-learning environment is also using Moodle. One thing that differs is that the current learning environment used by VSU is internet connectivity dependent, since it is an online platform, while that of the PLMS can be run offline. As I've mentioned, the learning environment that VSU has adopted is online based. So, let me share with you some details of VSU internet infrastructure. Right now, all buildings have been strategically connected with internet, both LAN and Wi-Fi network. Free Wi-Fi is accessible for all the students inside the campus. VSU also has its own local server that hosts the VSU e-learning, including online enrollment. It has its own personnel and maintenance team. Getting sight at our students' profile, let me share the following data with you. As a disclaimer, these data were taken from a limited group of students, particularly my class advisees. The survey was conducted sometime in 2021 during the onset of the full online learning modality implementation. I have conducted this survey as part and parcel of my duties and responsibilities as an academic advisor. It is also my personal way of connecting and understanding the current situation of these students. In here, the data show that 82.9% of the students got their school financial support from their parents alone. In the next chart, we are presented if the students have a way to connect to the internet. Significantly, the result shows that most of the students says yes, that they have a way to connect to the internet. In this slide, the graph reflects 97.4% of the respondents use smartphone as the device that they can use for the online learning modality. Around 35.6% can use desktop computer and laptop. In terms of connectivity, 87.8% uses mobile data as their source of internet connection. Only 18.9% uses their broadband internet. 8.1% goes to the computer shops or piso Wi-Fi stalls, and 12.2% has the access through going to other places with free internet connection, such as from the neighborhood, public and school libraries, cafe, and the like. Gladly, the data show that from this group of respondents, no one is unable to connect to the internet. In this part of the survey, I have asked my advisees what are the challenges that may or might affect their learning in a distant education. 85.5% of respondents answered unstable mobile or internet connectivity. It is followed by the significant response of insufficient load or data allowance from 65.8% of the respondents. It is followed by distraction as a challenge in learning, that has 63.2%. Then, 40.8% answered conflict with other activities. 36.8% answered difficulty in independent learning. 32.9% answered lack of available gadgets or equipment as part of the challenges. Other challenges include lack of available space for studying an existing health condition which has 22.4% and 5.3% respectively. That's it for my advices, profile, and situation in the new learning system. As I have mentioned earlier, I am deeply honored and privileged to be one of the participants of the PLMS training. It has brought me ample substantial information and has given me a valuable insights in this new learning modality. I humbly share with you the following insights I have grasped from the said PLMS training. Let me start with presenting to you the things that I have found advantageous in the implementation of PLMS. First, it can run in an offline mode. Second, PLMS offers unlimited creation of virtual classroom and learning activities. Third, that in PLMS, student can work in an offline mode. On the other hand, here are the minimal items I found that need improvement. In PLMS, student must use desktop or laptop to run the system. In reference to the data I have shared earlier in our situation, most of my students only uses smartphones in accessing to the new learning system. Another point is that in PLMS, checking of students' outputs consume a significant amount of time since you need to check them individually. I believe, however, that these points are subject for further development in time. Moreover, I would also like to share with you some tips and plans in the implementation of the PLMS. These tips and plans are based from my own experience as an instructor using online learning environment run by Moodle. In terms of students' output integrity, I believe that it should be emphasized that students should sign an honor code. The honor code is not an assurance that students will spare themselves from committing plagiarism. However, in this new learning system, in our part as the instructor, this is the least we could do in addressing integrity concerns. I also believe that an orientation to students regarding the University Code of Conduct, especially in the issues of plagiarism, will make them aware of this matter, so to speak. Another point I wish to highlight is in terms of making examinations. I would suggest that in using this learning system, as instructors, let us try to explore other types of questions. Say, for instance, in problem solving, we use the calculated multi-choice. This is to have a variety and differentiated answers from the students. It can be done by having the same set of problem but of different given facts. Hence, students are expected to have an individualized calculations and answers. For short answers or element questions, use random short matching. It works by selecting a specific number of questions from a set of short answer questions. To make it even more accurate, let us have this example. If you have 100 questions, then you want to select only 50 questions to be answered. Each student will receive different sets of random 50 questions from the 100 questions listed in the bank. Thus, this eliminates students from predicting the set of questions assigned to them and in the same manner avoid sharing of answers to one another. In conclusion, PLMS has a great potential as an alternative platform for flexible learning. PLMS offers numerous features, however, the effectivity and efficiency relatively relies to the teacher on how they are going to implement the system. Personally, this PLMS training has given me ample of ideas and techniques on how to manage the VSU e-learning environment since PLMS and VSU e-learning uses Moodle as a backbone in running the system. I found this 6 days online training highly relevant and helpful to me as an instructor in this new normal time. Once again, my sincere thanks to the organizers and the people behind this training. Thank you and mabuhay. God bless us all.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Philip, for that presentation. We are also grateful to be of help to our fellow educators through this training, and we're happy that you have learned a lot. So if you have any questions, by the way, please reserve them, or you can type them on the chat box and we will entertain them during the open forum. Next part, before we go to our open forum, we will have another intermission
Hello
number.
everyone.
So this time, we have an intermission number from the Lobok Children's Choir.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, say I'm a dream, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people. Imagine people
right. Thank you so much for that wonderful intermission number, Bohol. So those are indeed insightful presentations that we have today. So thank you so much for our presenters. So we are now our open forum. So we are now open for questions. Before that, we would like to acknowledge also the presence of our speakers today. Mr. Vincent Ray Namok, sir, if you can open your camera, and also Sir Philip Ibit, and also our regional coordinator, Dr. Maria Cecilia Ligason. Does anyone have questions? Ma'am Jan, can we turn off screen share so that we can have our presenters as well? Yeah. Also with us here today is our project leader, Dr. Dave Marshall. So by the way, we have, yes, I think many of us are experiencing quite of an internet issues today, including me. So we will make this recording available through our platform, our Soul platform. And for those who just joined today, you are very much welcome to learn more about PLMS course, and you can actually register and perform the required activities. And from there, you will also learn a lot while you are performing the activities for the PLMS. So this month is our last month for the PLMS training for your completion. So hopefully you will complete them. Okay, no pressure, but yeah, we would really be happy that what you have started, you will also finish them. It's something also that you can earn from your side. The implementation plan is part of the requirement for the PLMS training course, but it's not something that will be required for implementation for the school. But it is, like we have said at the start, it is an alternative learning platform for our students. So if you could lay out those plans and put it on writing, we would appreciate to learn it from you. So hopefully many would be willing to do that so that you can finish also your PLMS course. And yes, I would like to ask also, I would like to add also, so another use also for PLMS is that I think you can also utilize this one for schools who are Moodle based. You can probably utilize PLMS as a way for you to train new faculty, to explore LMS itself, because from there they can actually practice how to create quizzes, uploading and inserting learning materials, which is actually very helpful for the new faculty. All right. Do we have questions? Okay. Sir, Ma'am Jan, do you have something to share? Yeah, we also want to acknowledge also another regional coordinator in the person of Dr. Thelma Palawag. Thank you for participating us today, ma'am.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much for attending this last day of our regional sharing and consultation. As what you have seen, Dr. Dave already shared links where you could access the previous regional sharing activities that we have done since January. And also, if you have not yet enrolled to our training platform for this PLMS offline platform, you can always go to the link that is also on the chat box. You can go to the LMS and you could also self-enroll. So again, thank you so much for this. This is our last regional training and consultation, and we are happy that we are still about 50, at least 50 participants attending this morning. Thank you.
Yes, I would like also to acknowledge Dr. Nelly, our regional coordinator for Region 6. She was actually the first one I noticed earlier today. Thank you so much, Dr. Nelly, for joining us today. So as you all know, the PLMS is not really a perfect system, as you know. Those identified disadvantages and advantages are all valid, and it's still a work in progress, if I would say. But we are working to improving it. No, so hopefully we could address certain areas. But for mobile devices, I think it's quite difficult for it to be implemented on a mobile platform as far as technology is concerned, because the mobile platform itself, let alone those who are using iOS, which has a very strict permissions. So maybe it could work for Android devices, but not for iOS. And yeah, thank you also for Sir Vincent for identifying those. Your presentation is quite advanced, so I'm pretty sure some of those faculty who are not so familiar might have a difficulty already catching up your presentation. Any comments, perhaps from our speakers as well and regional coordinators, if you may? Sir Dave, anything you can share?
Yeah, thank you to all our presenters. I personally note, especially those lists in the disadvantages, but maybe it's more of a challenges of matching the use of the PLMS to our needs. I keep really on telling that PLMS is not the bullseye answer of our problem of no internet connectivity. Still, it goes back to what is really our need. And just like in any syllabus, we always go back to the learning outcomes. And I always tell this that technology naman, that it's really more of the appropriateness, no? So it's not an answer for all the problems. If we are looking for solution to an internet connectivity, it's only an option. It's not really a whole time solution, because as I mentioned, the PLMS has its limitation, and it is limited to, we have number one, number two, number three, and things like those. That is why we have levels of implementation, because my implementation might not be applicable to the kind of setup you have. Let's say, for example, for the VSU, in the VSU, I know they have their online Moodle also. It might be so easy for Sir to manipulate the PLMS, because they know already that they use that in the online. But as to the delivery to the students, maybe it's a different story, because their students have or required to do the online thing, so something like that. So it's really more of matching. We have to match appropriateness of the technology to the PLMS. That is why at first we, the team, the implementation plan, we don't really need a very sophisticated implementation plan, because per experience, PLMS is talagang matagal na ito, no? And then that's really a common challenge to all of us being the project holder. And yun nga, the implementation plan, we are not expecting really a super sophisticated and very theoretical, and we want information from the ground. If you feel that that is only needed for a sort of a library material, like a reading tool, that's pretty fine. We just want to really give an alternate menu to all the available technologies that we have. Yun ang mga nakikita natin, especially that we are transitioning to the limited face-to-face. Itong PLMS, nakikita namin, mas ma-appreciate siguro ninyo pag yung estudyante magpupunta na to the school, kasi they can bring the flash drive. They can bring the flash drive, and then when they went home or when they will go home, that is a time that they can manipulate and process their PLMS. The PLMS kasi is difficult difficult for a level difficult for a city that is not allowed to go out. But in the limited face-to-face, students can go to your room already and then do some cyclical scheduling in your school. So yun, we have to rethink that as we go along into our limited face-to-face. Kasi I see really opportunity for the PLMS to be used for the limited face-to-face, especially if our school does not have an established learning management system. Thanks to our speakers, thanks to our speaker to I think she's a nurse, no? She's a nurse, and so amazing that she presented well his PLMS instance or the virtual classroom. We hope to have more non-IT teachers working on or integrating technology in the virtual classroom. And of course, hi to my teachers in Holy Name University. I think Ma'am Sel is here and Ma'am na ba si Ma'am Abusiho? Marikita
Ma'am
po.
Selma is also here.
Yeah. So, daghang salamat and as mentioned by our team leader, you can still catch up and for those who wish to if you feel that you just need to browse how it will look like kasi nga it can spark your interest for the limited face-to-face, just let us know. And although the project will end by sometime in July, and if you feel that you are in your limited face-to-face implementation and PLMS might be applicable in the scenario, I think just feel free. Just feel free to contact us, and we are very much willing to assist you.
All right, thank you for that, Dr. Dave. Again, we are here to support you. So far, we are still waiting for the participants to, to message us or to communicate to us so that we can help you complete your PLMS course. And yeah, even though it's about to end, but I'm pretty sure there will be schools and some of you might be interested in the future. So I think, as Sir Dave mentioned, we are very much willing to help on this area. All right. No other questions? I think that would be all for today. So again, thank you for all our participants. I think there are students who are here as well. Daghang salamat and looking forward in seeing you again in our future trainings.
Sir Larry, let's have the photo opportunity.
Oh yes, the most important part of our gathering today. Please turn on your cameras, please.
Okay,
Show
please
my-
get ready with your best smile. There are 2 pages, so we don't know which page you are. So just give your best smile. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. For a while. Next. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Thank you.
All right. So I believe that's the end of our regional sharing and support. Thank you, everyone.